Welcome to Dad Talk Today. The podcast for dads facing some of the toughest moments of their lives. We are here to walk with men through divorce, keep them connected to their kids, help them understand their rights, and work for change in family law courts. Moms, you are always welcome too. We are all about advocating for shared parenting and doing what is best for our kids. Here is your host, Eric Carroll.
Welcome back to Dad Talk Today. Tonight, I have a very special guest, Mr. Whey Jennings. Whey, what's going on, my man?
Oh, man, you know it. Just getting off the road. I dug that promotional video, man. That was real cool.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. So we're trying to bring some awareness of what's going on to our boys here in America. I've joined it's a coalition to create a White House Council with Dr. Warren Farrell and Richard Warshak and a lot of good people. So
that's real
you
cool.
guys, yeah, man. But so you just got off the road. How many days have you been on the road, and what is the music scene looking like right now?
Oh, it's sketchy. I've had some great shows though. I mean, I've been lucky. I mean, the places that have hired me, they've been packing in there. You know, I was on the road 3 days on this last run, and I was on the road 10 days on the road and run before that. So we got in some good shows. It's been pretty good.
That's awesome, man. So, I mean, you're no stranger to the scene. Grandpa was Waylon Jennings, and your grandmother was Jessi Colter, and I guess Shooter is your uncle, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So tell everybody a little bit about what that was like growing up, having these legends, it's country music royalty as your family, and now you're following in their footsteps.
Well, it probably would have been crazy if somebody would have told me that when I was young. But, you know, I had to find it out on my own. And let's put it this way. When I was really young, I went out on stage with my grandfather, and it was pretty fun, you know what I mean? And that was, every time I went out there, I got on stage with him. Until I turned about 13 years old, and I went out on stage, and I froze like a deer in headlights, you know? And then I think that was the moment I figured out how heavy it was. But, you know, I just ran off and got a job after that. And then didn't even think about music for years. And then my mom got sick, and she asked me to do something with music because she always heard me singing, you know. So I decided to try it. But yeah, it's pretty wild, you know. I can't think of a better grandfather. I mean, one of the coolest people alive, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. Talk about a legend. I know everybody knows the opening to the Dukes of Hazzard, the good old boys. I'm sure you're going to be playing that come October 3rd.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll be definitely doing that one.
Yeah. So, guys, we will be live October 3rd at Hazard Fest in Bulls Gap, Tennessee. Please go check that out, hazardfest2020.com.
Yeah, Volunteer Speedway.
Yep, Volunteer Speedway. Before we get too much into that, though, so how many years have you been doing this way?
I think this is about, I want to say 10 or 11, I want to say.
Yeah.
Something like that. But I don't know, it flew by pretty quick.
Yeah. I can imagine, man, that life on the road. I mean, me and you got to talk a little bit before we came on the show. It's rough, man. And there's so many different things to get into. What's the temptation like for you guys out there on the road?
Oh, it's worse now. I mean, temptation, I brought the temptation for most of the years I was on the road, you know. I mean, I was pretty much an idiot growing up, you know. I mean, but it helped me out a lot with my music career, you know what I mean? Because I dove into it. I mean, it was all music all the time, every day, until, you know, till this COVID thing hit. And I had to look at myself, and I didn't like what I seen. So I just went and got help. And I've been doing pretty good since then, man. Got my complexion back, my weight back, my woman back, my life back. I mean, it's been wild. I mean, a lot of people looking at this COVID thing like it's a pandemic, and there's a lot of people dying from it and all this stuff, you know. But I'm hoping it gets over with soon. But honestly, it saved my life. And I mean, it gave me a time to stop and think about what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, you know. What kind of role model I wanted to be for my kids, what kind of role model I wanted to be for other people's kids, you know, because the guy I was seeing wasn't somebody that I wanted anybody's kids looking up to,
Right.
you know.
I get it, man. And that's one of the toughest things that you can ever do. I definitely had my spell with that. And it's like you got to learn a whole new outlook on life. You were
Mm-hmm.
used to living in this box, wake up. Slash said it best from Guns N' Roses, man. He said, when we started this out, we were musicians that were dabbling into drugs. And before we knew it, we were drug addicts dabbling into music.
Yeah,
Could
that's the
you
truth.
identify with that?
I can identify with that wholeheartedly. I mean, wholeheartedly. I mean, because when you're out on the road, man, I worked on a cotton farm for 10 years before I started doing this. You know what I mean? We worked a lot of hours, a lot of them. I mean, sun up to sundown every day. And I got hooked on drugs. Before that, even I was hooked on drugs, but I used that for a crutch, you know. And then when I got in the music business, it would have been more overwhelming if I hadn't been already strung out on drugs, you know, because at that point everything became free. You know what I mean? Everybody was showing up and he's like, you want to party? You want to do this? You want to do that? You want to blah, 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 and all this. And I was like, yeah. But, you know, I found out there's a lot more out there than that, you know. There really is. I mean, I've never been as happy as I am right now. Let's put it that way. And I'm not going to let anything take that away from me. Not even the music business, you know. I mean, I love performing. I love performing for people. I love it with all my heart. But I can't hang out and party no more, you know. I want to go home to my family. I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good role model, you know. I don't want to be the guy who stays and shuts the bar down and gets so damn drunk they don't want to have him back, you know. I've had enough of childishness. I want to be a grown man for once in my life, you know.
I definitely respect that. But one thing I would say, everybody probably heard you just talking about how you was working on a cotton farm. They're like, Waylon Jennings' grandson, he didn't have the silver spoon in his mouth. You're telling me you had to go work on a cotton farm and work for a living?
Yeah, I've never had anything but a plastic spoon in my mouth, bud. I guarantee it. I've been working for a living since I was 17 years old. And, you know, I've done everything. I mean, my family's always supported me, you know, like mentally and emotionally. But financially, I've done my thing myself, you know. I mean, I'm not a rich man. I'm not, I feel like I'm a successful man because people know who I am and they know what I'm doing and they know that I'm trying my best, you know.
Right.
And, you know, yeah, I could look back in my life and get down on myself and go into a hole, or I can look back at my life and realize that where I'm at right now is inspiring to somebody. You know what I mean? It's got to be. I mean, I went from an everyday drug addiction to just nothing, you know, and I'm doing the best I can with my kids now, and I'm doing the best I can with my life now. I've been working on building a home. I've been I've been that guy, the guy I never was before, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there got a lot of bad feelings about me, and I apologize for that because I did spend a long time being a dumbass, you know. Excuse my language.
No, you good.
But you know, I feel like my story is a success story. I'm not dead. My kids love me. My fans love me. My family loves me, and I love them. I love everybody. And you know, if I can do it, anybody can do it. You know.
I hear you, man. So what was that like while you was in this? What is the relationship like now with the kids, and was there strain on the kids with you being gone on the road, and what was going on there for a while, and what's that looking like now?
It's looking a lot better. I mean, I'm getting a lot closer to my oldest son. You know, he's been coming and visiting me, and we've been spending time together. And that was really a strong factor on me going and getting clean. Because the first time he came down here and visiting, you know, I wasn't clean, and I was like running and hiding and running and hiding and doing my thing, you know. And I felt guilty because I was like not spending time with my son, you know. But he still loved me through it all. He's never not loved me. He's never given me a bad word back about me to me. I mean, he didn't do anything to me like I did to my dad whenever I got back with him and got back to getting to know him. I mean, I was not very nice to my dad at first. We got over that after a while and we got to know each other and we loved each other until the end of his life. But, you know, I'm lucky in that sense. None of my kids have been held it against me to my face. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that they didn't have something bad to say about me behind my back, or somebody else, but to my face, they've been nothing but respectful and loving to me and supportive of what I'm trying to do,
It's all according to what you want to talk about, Whey, but you was mentioning it seemed like there was a little bit of a strain there between you and your own father. What was going on with that when you was growing up?
Well, when I was about 3 years old, my parents got divorced, and my mom made a dumb mistake, and she put something in the paper she probably shouldn't have, and it caused a strain between me and my dad. We didn't see each other very often. And then I got to the point where my mom was like, and where I was staying and all this stuff, I was at the bottom of the barrel. I couldn't do nothing. I didn't know where else to go or nothing like that. My mom gave me my dad's phone number, and I moved out to West Texas because he was out there writing a book. And that 5 years that we spent out there together was probably we put 28 years into a 5-year span, and it was worth every minute of it. And it was great. I love my dad. He was a great man. He was supposed to die 20 years ago. I mean, us kids even got like checks and stuff from the government because he was going to die. And then he did this experimental drug and it cured him. And he was alive for 20 more years. And I tell you what, everything that man told me he was going to do, he did. And then he died. And it was, I miss him. I miss him with all my heart. He was really a good man. He was a godly man. And that's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be a godly man and a good father, just like he was. I mean, when he was young, he was on the road with my grandfather at 15 years old, and the road, how it is, it's, if you want to get in trouble, you can. It's pretty easy, and if you read his book, it's called Waylon Tells of My Outlaw Dad by Whey Jennings. And it's a great book. It'll tell you his entire life story on the road with my grandfather and how it was. And for him to go from what he was into on the road then as a young man to be the inspiration he was when he died, that means a whole lot to me, man. I'm so proud of my father. You have no idea. And I just want to be able to make my kids proud of me the way he did. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes in fatherhood, I mean, as my dad did, he did, but the way he made up for it and the way he lived his life at the end of his life, I just pray to God that I can accomplish that, what he did before the end of my life, I want my kids to know that their father loves them and to know that he regrets all the time that he missed, It wasn't like he was trying to pass off his responsibilities. It was just rough, When you separate from the women you love, one after another, like I did, and you blaming them now I can look back and see where I was, probably wasn't a prize, But, I don't want to blame nobody else no more. I want to hold my own blame and do my best to make it right, And that's what I'm trying to do every day. I wake up every morning. I pray to God. I read 5 Psalms and 1 proverb, and I've been working through each book as I go. And I'm trying to, develop my own relationship with God and my family and everybody, really, because we're all related in one way or another.
It's such a hard life out there. And I mean, for your grandfather, for your dad, for you, I was telling you a little bit earlier, I got to work with Steven Adler, the drummer for Guns N' Roses. I was doing a lot of his booking in the Southeast back at one point in time. He was on Celebrity Rehab. And so I got to go and be backstage with these guys and see the temptation. Everybody even knowing that he was a struggling addict and was in rehab, just how they throw things at these guys. And it's so easy to get caught up in it, man. But the fact that you're on here talking about this, how much you love your kids, saying this is what I did, but I want to turn it around. Dude, you have no idea how many people you're probably inspiring right now, just hearing you talk about that. I think that the biggest problem for us, Whey, especially as men, we our biggest facade of strength is our biggest facade of weakness is us speaking out or having our emotions. Us being able to be vulnerable and talk about what we're going through, there's power in that, man. You know, there's power in saying this is what I was, but that's not going to be who I'm going to become. And I think the better years for you, my man, they haven't even made it yet.
I feel the same way, man. I mean, I lied to myself for a lot of years and thought I had to be this way to do it right. You know what I mean? Because for the most, man, I knew my grandfather pretty well growing up. I mean, pretty well, but not as well as, you know, most grandfathers and grandsons, you know. And like,
Right.
it wasn't an everyday thing. It was like an every, like 3, 4 times a year thing. But when we spent time together, he gave me 100% of his attention. And, you know, it was life on the road family, you know what I mean? I mean, when you're touring 250 dates a year, that's not many days at home. You know what I mean? And I love my grandfather, and the most I know about him was just like from a fan's aspect. You know what I mean? Like I watched what fans watched. I listened to the albums that fans listened to. I listened. I mean, it was like, and from my perspective, when I was on drugs, I enjoyed the music he made when he was on drugs, and that allowed me to keep myself on drugs, thinking it was making me better. But I was wrong. I was wrong. I have a newfound respect for the man my grandfather was after his addiction and the music he made and how hard he tried. Because it's 10 times harder sober. I mean, it's 10 times harder. The driving's harder, the music's harder, the crowd's harder. It's all harder because you're there. You know what I mean? You're not in here no more. You're out here. And while you're out here, you're going, you know, because, you know, everybody's looking at you and everybody's, you know, wondering where you're at in your life. I'm realizing what my grandfather realized, that my career is very important to me, but my family is more important. You know, my family means the world to me, and I want to be there for them. I don't want to spend my life away from them. You know what I mean? I want to be able to do music, but I want to be able to do it right. You know what I mean? I want to be able to, you know, book tours and do 2 or 3 tours a year and have time at home with my family. That's what I'd like to do. And that's what I'm in the process of trying to work out. You know what I mean? I still work on music. I still work on this, but it's like where my mind was always focused on music, just music, 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 music. Now I got all these other things my mind's being divided on, you know what I mean? Because I got people I love, I got things I love, I got activities I love, I got all kinds of things I want to do with my family and just with myself sometimes, you know what I mean? That I never had time to do because I didn't allow myself to have time to do it. I was just, I mean, I was either playing music or getting high or both, you know? And I'm just sick of it, man. I just want to be a good man, and I feel like I've been doing that. You know, I've been doing everything that I can to be right. I'm not perfect, but I'm not falling off my wagon no more. You know what I mean? I've got a strong routine I do every day. I wake up every morning. I kiss my old lady. We tickle each other, like like roughly, around the bedroom. I just have fun, you know. My little 6-year-old stepson wakes me up and tells me he loves me, and we wrestle around too. And then we get up, we read the Bible, we drink coffee, and then we go about our day and we do stuff together. And I think my stepson probably liked it better when I wasn't around so much, but because, you know, I'm more of a disciplinarian and I'm trying to teach him the right way. And I'm trying to be a good father. You know what I mean? That's what I've always wanted to be. And I felt like that was taken away from me for a long time. But I realize now I took it away from myself, man. I was no kind of father. I was no kind of person to even try to be a father. I mean, I understand why they got, well, it was fun until they had a baby and then their responsibility hit them, you know. Like, this probably ain't the guy I want raising my baby. And they were probably right because I wasn't doing nothing but partying. And, you know, I was in the scene, and the scene ain't the place to be if you want to be a good father, you know, because the scene, you're off, when you're off stage, you're drinking, you're doing drugs, you're hanging out with people. I mean, not everybody out there is on drugs or anything, but people I chose to hang out with, and the people that I chose to surround myself with were people like me who were doing, you know, the things that I don't want my kids around, you know. And I'm not trying to talk bad about nobody. I mean, I love all my friends, and I pray for all of them every day, you know, that, you know, maybe something will work in their lives that I've been lucky enough to have work in mine. I believe wholeheartedly God changed this for me. He's the one who put me on this right path. one way or another, he did this for me, because there ain't no reason why I should be sober today wanting to be the man I want to be. You know what I mean? Because there just ain't no reason. It took a pandemic to do it. You know, it took shutting down the whole damn world to get me off drugs. And it worked. And here I am, you know. And I feel good about the man I am today. And I'm going to keep feeling good about myself. No matter what obstacles come and what, you know, things may happen, or way I may react to certain things or whatever, you know what I mean? Or how people might react. Of me being sober now and not wanting to hang out or whatever, you know, it's just, I ain't got nothing against nobody, you know what I mean? But I just ain't got nothing against myself no more either, you know what I mean? I just want to be me. I want to be happy. I don't want to be depressed no more. I want to be happy, and that's what I'm striving for, you know.
You know, dude, I can honestly say I probably speak for me and everybody that's watching this show right now when I say I'm proud of you. And again, that's a big step to take. It sounds like you're on the right road. I'm curious, you know, what was it like going on the road? I'm sure you bumped into people from time to time that would tell you stories about your dad and your uncle and your granddaddy. I mean, what was that like, hearing about your family from strangers?
I mean, I got a better question for you. What is it like them hearing about me from strangers?
Ouch.
I mean, for the most part, I haven't heard anything too bad about anybody in my family. You know what I mean? I mean, everybody parties, you know, every once in a while, a little bit here and there, whatever. But for the most part, man, I ain't heard nothing but good about my family. I've never heard a bad word spoke about my grandfather. I mean, I've heard a lot of stories about people who say they got drunk with him, which I know ain't true because my grandfather didn't drink, you know. But, you know, everybody I've ever heard talk about my grandfather to me has had nothing but respect and love for him. And everybody that's talked to me about Shooter the same way, you know what I mean? I mean, Shooter's a hardworking man. I mean, he's more active in the music business than a lot of people understand. He's not just a musician, he's also a producer. He's also a lot of things, you know. I mean, he's got 3 Grammys. He's a hardworking man. He works really hard at it, and he's also, I mean, him and Struggle both have been really a strong inspiration to me because they juggle their careers and their children and their home life and their families. And if they can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? Just for the longest time, I chose not to, but they did, and I'm proud of them for that. They're really good people. I love my family with all my heart, and I really look up to them. You know?
Did either of them ever reach out to you when they thought they might have seen you going down the wrong path and tried to say, hey, Whey, you might want to watch out with this a little bit? Did anybody ever try to give you some advice about what's going on the road?
Yeah, Shooter did, but I didn't listen. I mean, I just didn't listen, you know. I thought I knew it all, you know. I mean, when you're an addict, man, and people try to give you good advice, you look at it and you go, oh, you think you're better than me? You know what I mean? Or, oh, you think you know me? Or, oh, you know.
They're the enemy.
Anything to keep from not being an addict, anything from not accepting that you're an addict in yourself, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the way I looked at it for a little while. And I mean, like I said, I got a lot of apologies to give to a lot of people. I got a lot of ground to make up that I did wrong. You know what I mean? I was hard-headed. I was young. Had no idea what the music business was. The way I went about it was different than anybody had ever gone about it. All I did was make a bunch of phone calls, book a bunch of shows, and jump in my truck and run. You know what I mean? Hire up musicians as I went. It just sound different everywhere I went. And, you know what I mean? I never had a really solid route into what I was doing. And I was just scattered out there doing whatever I could, whenever I could, you know. And yeah, Shooter really did try to tell me and help me, but I just didn't listen, you know. I wish I would have, you know.
Right.
But I'm listening now. You know, that's all I could say. I mean, I'm finna be 40 years old, and I'm through with the foolishness, you know.
Yeah, man. You know, those people try to give you advice early on. You don't want to take it while you're an addict, but you look back on it later on and you appreciate it even more because you realize those are the people that had your back, the ones that told you what you don't want to hear. Too often we take for granted the people that tell us what we don't want to hear. And those are the very ones sometimes that we need to listen to because we're the worst evaluators of ourselves. We don't see what's going on, you know, so
That's like
really
a line I use a lot. You can see everything on this planet except yourself. You know what I mean? And I don't know, the image I made of myself in here ain't what was projecting out here. You know what I mean? What was projecting out here was enough that people wanted, you know, to, I mean, I sound enough like my grandfather that people want to see what I'm got going on, you know what I mean? But when they'd show up at my shows and they seen me up there with a beer bottle in my hand, wired out of my damn head and doing all this crazy stuff, I lost a lot of fans and a lot of respect from a lot of people doing that, you know what I mean? And there ain't no going back and getting them back, you know what I mean? There ain't no going back and saying, oops, you know, there ain't none of that, you know what I mean? All I can do is go from this day forward and do the best I can and try to be worthy of what I've been doing, you know what I mean? I'm the grandson of a very, very, very loved man. And I was disrespecting the hell out of his legacy for a lot of years. And I want to change that. I want to respect his legacy and I want to be the best man I can be and, you know, be complimentary to him rather than be in contrast to him like I was for a long time, you know? And it's, you know, I mean, it takes more than just being related to somebody and having a voice to go out here and do this and be successful at it. And I'm starting to realize that. I mean, I did everything wrong you could do wrong, probably more than once. You know, I mean, I got into bar fights. I got in the stuff I shouldn't have ever gotten into, you know. But it was all due to me. I mean, I blamed other people for this all the way through it. All the way through it. It was their fault, not mine. It was all their fault, not mine. And it's, I put myself in that situation. I did that. I chose to do it. It came out of my mouth. It came out of the end of my hand. It was me, man. It was me. I was the one to blame. And I see that now. And I just said, God willing, maybe people will forgive me and let me do what I do, you know, and see what they think of me in the future, you know. Anybody can sit here. I've only been sober 5 months. You know what I mean? Anybody can sit here and take, I'm going to be just the greatest man in the world. But it's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard. I was addicted to drugs and I had alcohol for like social, you know what I mean? But honestly, I've had no cravings for drugs. But I wanted to drink a beer a few times, you know, but I haven't. I've been strong enough to say no. I mean, actually, I've been lucky enough to have a strong woman behind me to say no, you know. But I just feel like, man, I feel like a new man with a new vision and a new direction. And I'm putting it in God's hands. I mean, at the end of my prayers every morning, I say, thy will be done, not mine. And I'm talking to God. I want God's will to be done, not mine. Because my will is selfish. You know what I mean? Everybody's will is just selfish. Yep. And it's just, I don't want to be a selfish person. I want to be a tool for the man upstairs. You know what I mean? What he wants me to do, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I want to do what's right. I want to be an inspiration. I want to be a good dude, man. I want to be somebody that people want to be around. I don't want to be somebody that some people wish they never even knew, you know. I want to be exactly what I am today. I feel good about me today. And that's good for me, you know.
That's awesome, man. Tell everybody about what the lady behind you. You've talked about her a few times. How has she helped you during all of this?
Oh, she's helped me quite a bit, like quite a bit.
Yeah.
She's given me another chance for one because here's the deal. When you're on drugs, your mind starts thinking weird things. You start thinking all this sexual immorality and all this crazy stuff and all that. And she witnessed me being that crazy dude, man. She witnessed me being not a good guy, you know. And after I went to rehab and I come home, by the grace of God, she gave me another chance, you know. And we've been working on this, and she hasn't given up on me yet. I like to think she's proud of me, what I've been. You know what I mean? I'm a totally different dude than I was. And I'm trying my best. But her name is Taryn. She's my fiance. We'll be getting married hopefully in October. But maybe later, I don't know. We'll get married when God says get married, you know.
There you
But
go.
right now we're working on building our first home together and building our life together. And I love her with all my heart. I love her son with all my heart. And I love our soon to be newborn with all my heart. You know what I mean? And I feel like I got a new chance, man. And I feel like a lot of it's in part with her, and a lot of it's in part with Tammy. She's been like a mother to me, man. I mean, both my parents have passed away, you know.
Yeah.
And so the closest thing I got to a parent is Tammy Crowley. She's been a great manager, a great mom, a great everything to me, and she's stood by me through some wild stuff. Let's put it that way. She should have gave up on me a long time ago, but she never did. And I'm grateful for that. You know, it takes that. It takes people being supportive of you, being letting you know you're worth it. You know.
That's awesome, man. A second ago, you had mentioned something about, you couldn't go back and bring those people that, you may have wronged or something have went in the past. There's no getting them back. I got to kind of disagree with you, man. Seeing this new person, somebody that can come on screen, do what you're doing now, you keep heading in the direction that you're going. And I believe you'll see a lot of those people come back. People are very forgiving, man. And, just like I said, keep it up. 5 months. I'm proud of you, brother. I know everybody else is. Another thing I'd like to talk to you about, though, and I'm wondering if this put a little chip on your shoulder or if it was beneficial to you in the past. So me is my grandfather, my dad, and my uncles, all of them are pastors. The only thing I got to ask growing up, are you going to follow in your father's footsteps? You're going to follow in your granddad's footsteps? It's like, oh, man, that was so much pressure. Even though I know your last name is Jennings and that's probably done some good for you. But what does that feel like? I know you probably like, you know what? I want to carve my own path here. Has there been a little bit of that going on?
Well, yeah. I mean, anybody's like that. You know what I mean? Especially coming from somebody who's already a legend. You know what I mean? I mean, I've been one person, in my opinion, to successfully do it big. You know what I mean? And that's Hank Jr. You know, Hank Jr. He broke out of the shadow and he became his own entity. You know what I mean? Hank 3 did it too, but Hank Jr. was the one person to successfully make that happen. You know what I mean? And but honestly, these days I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? If I become a household name like my grandfather, that'd be great. But if I don't, just being his grandson and the proud man I am of him, and just being a part of such a legacy, you know what I mean? I mean, my grandfather could be, you know, Joe Smith from Wisconsin, being a farmer, and I'd be just as proud, you know. But he's not. He's Waylon Jennings. I wake up every morning and I look at myself in the mirror and I say, "You are Whey Jennings. Be Whey Jennings," and that's what I do. I mean, people love my grandfather's music, and I'm good at singing it, so I do it because I love people. I love the love that people have for my grandfather. You know what I mean? When I see the looks on people's faces when they hear something they ain't heard in a long time, it makes me feel real good. And when I hear the same voices loving the music that I'm putting out, as along with it, because I mean, I put out a lot of music. I mean, I put out quite a few. I have like 5 albums probably of my own music, and they're pretty good. You know, what I mean, they're pretty good songs. But most of my fan base is an older fan base. It's starting to get younger now. You know, but I love everybody, and I love when people love what I do, and I don't care if it is because it's because somebody already done before. I love putting smiles on people's faces, putting tears in people's eyes, giving somebody something to go home and talk about. You know what I mean? Makes me feel good. When I'm not able to do that for somebody, it makes me feel awful. You know, I like to perform and put my 100% into what I'm doing, and people enjoy it, and them tell me they loved what I did. Please come back. That makes me feel fulfilled. You know what I mean? I feel like I did my job at that point. So I've never really had a chip on my shoulder about it, but you know, it comes along with any life. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for going on 10 years or something like that, and I've heard a lot of the same questions over and over and over and over again. And it, you know, but I smile and I answer them questions to everybody who asks. They're asking me a genuine question that they want to know the answer to. So I'm going to answer it for them. You know what I mean? I'm going to respect people who respect me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna love people because they love me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna love people, and that's what I want to do. If people are enjoying what I do, I'm gonna keep doing it, regardless of the reason why they love it. You know what I mean? I love it too. I mean, I love the fact that I sound a lot like my grandfather, but I also love the fact that I don't sound a lot like my grandfather in the same sense. We do things a lot different, you know what I mean? But, it's just really, that's the hardest question to answer, really. Do I have a chip on my shoulder over it? I mean, I, I don't know whether to say yes or no. I don't know. I mean, I'm very grateful for the life I lead. I'm very grateful for the people that come out to my shows and the people who spend my life with, you know. And I'm okay with the fact that my name is this long. I'm Waylon Jennings' grandson, Whey Jennings. You know, and that's fine. I mean, I'm very proud of who I am and where I come from, and I'll always be that way.
Yeah, man. It's kind of like I always swore I would never get into ministry after seeing my dad and them do what they're doing, and now here I am doing this, and I'm like, well, it's pretty much what I'm doing now, So I didn't exactly go into his, but I did it in my own way. And I can see you've got your own flair there, man. I was listening to your music earlier and I was like, this is country music. Now I've had a chip on my shoulder because I don't feel like a lot of what I'm hearing on the country music station is country anymore, man. Like I love me some Hank 3, Waylon, and Johnny Cash, and I just don't feel like they're making it that way anymore, man. And hearing artists like you guys, I mean, dude, that's really what I love to hear, man. So what's going on in the future as far as music? Do you got any albums or anything coming up? And what are some of the performances you've got coming up?
I got like a 4-song LP I just recorded, and I'm having all the tracks for the music tracks still put on it. So it'll be out probably in about, I don't know, I want to say about 3 months probably before that's going to be done. I got a project I've been working on, my cousin Struggle. It's a hip hop and R&B album that he rap. You heard him? Any?
Yeah, I heard Struggle. You've actually had a few questions come in here. Everybody's wanting to know if you're going to do a collaboration with Struggle.
Yeah, we've already done it. It just ain't put out yet. It should be out soon. It's supposed to be done in August, but I'm thinking hopefully September. So I don't know, with this COVID and all this stuff going on, man. Everybody's just sort of scrambling at the moment. But it is recorded and it will be out eventually. So the answer to that question is yes. So, I mean, I'm very proud of Struggle, man. He went to prison and he come out a totally different man, and he's really strong in love. He's got a strong message that he has in all his music, and he's very active in his family, and he's a good father. He's a good man, and I'll tell you what, man. I'm inspired by everybody in my family. They've all made their own niche. They've all done the things they want to do their own way, and they've all been able to be a good father to their children. You know what I mean?
So you had a follow-up question to that from Mr. James Bribes. He said, what about a collaboration with Shooter? Is that possible?
Oh, it's possible, but he's a busy man. That's one busy man right there. He's producing quite a few albums right now, plus doing shows. And quite honestly, I haven't talked to him since I've been out of rehab, and so I don't know. I mean, when it comes to a lot of people in my family and my circle and all that stuff, I've got a lot of damage to repair, and I'm hoping one day we're able to do that. You know what I mean? But it's something, I don't know, man. I feel like I need to really do something on my own, and as the man I am today, and feel comfortable about that before I start going and I need to repair myself before I start trying to repair my life. You know what I mean?
I respect that, brother. I do. I respect that 100%. That's one of those things, you got to go find yourself. Now you had this way of life for the past 10, 11 years. Now you got this new one. It's new. Go find it. Find what inspires you. Go become this person that you're wanting to become. Go and put out the music that inspires you and that inspires other people, that tells your story. I'm all about it, dude. And like I said, I think your best days are yet to come, my man.
I'm hoping, man. I pray to God every morning about that. I just want to be who I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? I want to be. I want to be whenever I die. Right before I die, I want to be okay with it. You know what I mean? I want to be okay with what I did on this earth. You know. I mean, I sing pretty good, but that wasn't enough, man. I mean, it wasn't enough. I was doing everything else wrong. I mean, it's just. I'm actually proud of myself for once, and I want to be proud of myself for a long period of time is what I want to be, and I want to earn the respect of people. You know what I mean? Because I'd spent a lot of time not earning it. I've been demanding it and not deserving it, and I'm doing my best to earn it now. Is what I'm trying to do, and I think I can pull. I think I can pull that off. You know, I think eventually people will see that, you know, that person I was is behind me. I'm not that guy no more. I'm not going to be that guy no more. I'm not the guy who feels sorry for himself and blames everything on everybody else and all this other goofy stuff and just denies everything over here happened and all that. No. I mean, I spent my life in the dark. I'm trying to spend it in the light now, and I'm loving it. And that's what I want to keep doing, you know. I like the name of your show here, Dad Talk, because that's exactly what I'm trying to be as a dad. Yeah, you know. That's exactly what I'm trying to be.
I can honestly tell you, man, when I was in music, the last thing I thought I would have ever been doing is a podcast called Dad Talk. But it was the same thing for me, though, Way. I mean, I spent all those years trying to carve out my name in the music business and doing everything but what meant the most to me, and that was being a dad. And once my second or my third daughter was born, I'll never forget when I looked in her eyes. I was coming down off of drugs, and I said, "This is not who I want to be. It's not who I want to be." And that's a bad feeling as a father when you know that you haven't been doing what you're supposed to do, and it's time to wake up. And I understand the two. I can hear it in your voice, man. You think back on all those things you did. You know, I don't know if anybody's going to forgive me. It's like I've got a long way to go, but dude, it's coming. It really is, and I've had that before. And you know, I heard you say that you're about to get married, and you got another little one on the way.
I do. I'm hoping for once, which I'm not hoping, I'm knowing. For once, I'm gonna be able to raise one of my kids. And you know, my grandfather did that. He had 5 kids, and then he had Shooter at an older age, and he was able to do that right. You know, he was able to be a father. He was able to be there and do the things with Shooter he wasn't able to do with his other kids. You know, because by the time he got straight, all his other kids were grown. You know, and you know, most of my kids are getting grown. They're in their teens now, and I'm just I'm praying for the strength to keep on the path I'm on right now. You know what I mean? And because I'm happy. I mean, a lot of my friends say I'm a lot more monotone now. Because used to I'd be, you know, just wild. You know what I mean? I'm just sort of focused. I'm just focused, and I'm trying to do right, and I'm not trying to make any wrong decisions. I may be too focused, if you want to know the truth. Because it's wild, man. It is wild. I thought I knew what I wanted, and I was wrong. Now I know what I want, and I'm willing to do anything I have to do it. And that's just what I'm gonna do.
There you go, brother. He said, we got a question that came in, and I got to ask, man, because I don't even know where this came from. But Mark and Stacy White said, I heard a story that someone in your old band did a Gilbert Godfrey impression so loud that the cops were called on you. Is that true?
That is true, and that's the guy that did it right there.
I knew there was something to it.
Yeah, that's my old drummer right there, Mark Stacy White. He's a good dude, man. He's a real good dude.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's true. We was in the parking lot of a hotel, and he was doing his Gilbert Godfrey impression. It was like 2 a.m. The cops got called, and they showed up. He kept talking to him in the Gilbert Godfrey voice.
I would have loved to have seen that.
He's pretty good impressionist, man. He really is. He's got a few of them. He does pretty good. I don't know if you want him to do them on air. There's some of them kind of R-rated, but he's a really good dude, though. Yeah.
So, Whey, tell us a little bit about Hazard Fest. I was watching a video right before we came on. I saw where you was at Bo's Extravaganza. It looks like last year, and Kid Rock and John Snyder was on stage with you. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was cool, man. I actually got the opportunity because let me tell you a story here. When my mom passed away of lung cancer, right before she passed away, I asked her what she wanted to do, like what I could do for her that she wanted to do before she died. And she said, "I want to meet Kid Rock." So I called Shooter, and he made that happen for me. And when I got up there, you know what I mean, I was really upset. My mom was dying; she didn't have much longer to live. You know what I mean, and I was kind of standoffish and probably kind of rude, you know what I mean? Because I was kind of like, I'm here for her and her to see him. And they're like, what do you think of Kid Rock? And I'm like, I'm here for her to see him. And I was just, you know, I was just distraught, you know what I mean? I was losing my mama, and I'm a mama's boy. But it gave me the opportunity to apologize to him when I did that show with him. And we talked for a little bit. Kid Rock's a really good dude, man. He really is. He's a hardworking man. He's always working. And my mama loved him. My mama was just like, she could recite all his lyrics. You should have seen it. My mom walking through lung cancer, bald headed, doing Kid Rock in the hallway. You know.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man. I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of people I've looked up to in my life, and it's been great. It really has. I mean, I love working with Ben Jones, Cooters from the show. I love working with Catherine Bach and Tom Mopat and John Snyder and all of them. It's been a great experience. I mean, because along with all of them comes this fan base that is unreal. I mean, the Hazard fan base, the Dukes of Hazzard fan base, is so huge you have no idea. I mean, every event they put on, packed. I mean, packed with like 40 or 50 General Lees, all kinds of people. It's a show that people loved, man. I mean, Dukes of Hazzard was a great show. I mean, it still should be a great show. They're trying to label it a racist show now, which is a bunch of malarkey, but I mean, society today, I'm trying not to get in that either. Because one thing, when I got sober, I got off Facebook, I got off the news, I got off of that, I got off politics, all that. And it makes me a happier man. I'm better off without all these little gadgets and all this stuff. Because used to, I was like, and now I'm lucky if I get on the phone once a day, if even that, you know. But life's a beautiful thing when you take away all the ugly stuff in it, you know.
It is. You know, I was talking about that not long ago with somebody. I was like, you got all these riots in the streets, you got the protests, you got the civil unrest that's going down. I was like, but man, if I didn't turn on social media or see what's going on in the news, I wouldn't know any of it's going on because I'm here in the sticks. It's like,
let me tell you this. I travel around this country for a living. State to state, I've bounced off every border in this country. I've not seen no riots. I've not seen no big old Klan meetings. I've not seen all this crazy stuff going on. I've not seen none of this. All this stuff that they're zooming in on the news. I've not seen none of this happening out in the real world. I mean, only thing I've seen different in the real world than before is the masks. And that's it. You know what I mean? That's it. Everybody's still loving each other. Everybody's still trying to do their best, you know. I mean, you see people being goofy every once in a while, but nothing to get all worked up over, really. They're trying to create a false narrative, man, is what's going on. They're trying to create hate, and I'm not into it. So I just shut it off.
well, that's the problem with it, brother, is when they put this out there, the people buy into it, and it's all you see on the Facebook walls and all anybody talks about. I don't do it. I'm like, I'm not. I'm going to sit here and take care of my family. We're going to do stuff like this. If they really wanted to do something, I think more stuff like what we did tonight is what we should be seeing on the news. We need more conversations like this and putting families back together. Yet we're going to keep selling the black versus white, Republican versus Democrat narrative that they got us spin. And I'm sick of it.
There's been a lot of people out there sick of it, man. I mean, I've seen a lot of people who are really sick of it. I mean, they're trying to make out a bunch of hate, man, a bunch of ridiculous hate. I mean, I don't know anybody that hateful. I mean, at all. And I know people are struggling right now because they're not being able to work. And, it's not even got to do with finances, man, because a lot of people getting financial help or whatever. It's got to do with being stir crazy and not being able to be productive. I mean, they're making you wear this mask, and it's one thing that keeps coming to me is this verse in the Bible that says, it's not what you put in your body that defiles it, it's what comes out of it. And when you're breathing, you breathe in oxygen, you breathe out carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide. And if you're breathing that carbon dioxide back in this mask, that can't be good to you, right? If what's coming out of your body is going back in it, right?
Right.
I mean, I think it's more of a health risk wearing a mask than it is worrying about this virus. I mean, there's like a 99% survival rate. I mean, there's been a lot of deaths over it, yes, but the flu's killed more people. I mean, people are going to live and people are going to die, and it's going to be by God's will, you know what I mean? And that's all there is to it. You can put a mask on all day long, it ain't going to save your life if you're supposed to go, you know?
It's became a political tool for everybody to use and to throw their articles back and forth at each other. It's just another reason to keep people going at each other, man. Again, the world is not as bad a place as they make it out to be. I mean, we had on Rob Adams last night. Whey, his son was involved in a hotel fire up there in Michigan back in November. The insurance wasn't going to cover that surgery, so he raised $160,000 in a week on GoFundMe, and his son just got this. It was his 200th surgery, but it was his life-saving surgery. And I was like, "There's your national news. There's your national. Why aren't you seeing this? This is the stuff that makes people feel good."
What I don't get is why people are still watching the news. I mean, it's a joke. It's a big joke. I mean, it really is. You ain't got no, they all listen to my grandma, man. If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. You know, I mean, why do you want to build hate in a world that people need to love each other, man? I mean, when you're looking at a human being, you're looking at yourself. When you're hating a human being, you're hating yourself. That's what you're doing. Why would you choose to hate yourself? I did that for a lot of years. I'm not doing it no more. I love me, and I'm going to love me for the rest of my life. I may not like a lot of the things I've done in my life, a lot of time I've wasted, but I love me, and I'm going to keep loving me, and I ain't going to let a little screen make me hate me. Ain't going to happen. You know?
There you go, my man. So I am looking forward to this in October. I haven't been out of the house in a while. We haven't got to see a big gathering, so I'm looking forward to meeting all you guys in October. And again, guys, Bulls Gap, Tennessee, October 3rd. Volunteer Speedway, Hazard Fest 2020. John Schneider's going to be there. Whey Jennings is going to be there. John's band's going to be playing. Hacksaw, Jim Duggan, Lex Luger, Jerry the King Lawler. I forget how many different people are going to be there.
Right.
Racing, country music, celebrities. I mean, Jesus, can't get no better than that.
I got to say one more thing. Also, September 5th, I will be in Luray, Virginia for Ben Jones' birthday party.
Yep.
So I want to let everybody know that they're going to be having a big old shindig for Ben Jones. And Ben Jones is a really great man. I mean, he's been a politician. He's been an actor. He's been a Broadway play, I believe. He's done a lot of great things. And one thing he's done for me is he's been a great soul, man. Him and his wife have been great people. They've opened their house to me. I mean, they've opened their lives to me. They've let me in their circle. They've let me in. And I tell you what, I've never heard anything but a positive message come out of anybody involved with anything to do with Dukes of Hazzard. And it really upsets me that the media and the government and all this stuff is labeling them a hate group because of the rebel flag on top of the car. You know what I mean? There's never been anything hateful come out of anybody in that community, ever. And for Ben Jones to still be the man he is today and do the things he does for his community out there and for his people every time he gets a chance, I mean, I'm very, very proud of that man. He's good. He's a really good man. So if you don't know who Ben Jones is, you should look him up. If you do know who he is, we're having a birthday party for him September 5th. So be out there in Luray, Virginia. And so that's what I'm going to say. At Cooters. Yeah.
Yep. Hey, tell Ben I've been trying to get in touch with him, by the way. That's another one I'd like to get on here. I know he's been involved in politics and many other things and has quite a career to himself. But is there any other shows you've got to plug way before we get off of here, and social media and websites?
Well, if you get on my Facebook page, music page, and you look at my schedule, I got all kinds of stuff coming up. I mean, there's too many of them to just name, but yeah, so far, just like the Hazard Fest and Ben Jones' birthday party, those are the two main things I got coming up right now. But we've got shows scattered throughout the whole country. So you look on my events on my Facebook page, the band page, and it'll give you my entire schedule. You can find me on Spotify, Facebook, Apple Music, CD Baby, all that good stuff. But, I'm not trying to plug me too much. If you Google my name, you'll find me. There I'm at. But I really appreciate you and everything you're doing. I really like what you got going on. Dad talk, and I can dig it. Yeah.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for being so open and everything with us tonight, dude. Can't wait to meet you in October, my man. So keep on the track that you're going, and anytime you want to come back, one phone call away, my man.
You bet, brother. You'll be hearing from me.
All right, my man.
Thank you, brother.
Take it easy.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We are fighting for the rights of parents worldwide. If you want to help support our podcast and for us to continue this mission, please join us at patreon.com/dadtalktoday. You will find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, CloutHub, Parler, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, the podcast app, Google, Apple Podcasts. We're a little bit of everywhere. And guys, every time you like and subscribe, you help us continue this mission. Thank you, and we will see you